Kevin McCullough.
Welcome back to Times Square. Kevin McCullough, glad to have you with us. And it is that time, whether you are desiring of the beautiful black glossy with the white logo, or the one I am using tonight, and I am not confirming or denying whether or not there may be adult beverages in here. It's the white one with the black logo. It is time to be mugged in a New York City proportion. And tonight's winner, let me just get right to her, is Michelle Guillory of Prairieville, I think is the name of my eyes are getting worse. Prairieville, Louisiana. Yes. Or Louisiana. If you're from New Orleans, you say Louisiana. But Prairieville, Michelle Guillory, congratulations. You are the winner. And if you want to take a chance, we're giving a mug away every weekend from now to the end of 2024. So get your registration in. That Kevin Show at gmail.com is where you send the email. In the subject line, you put mug or mugging or smug. As long as the word MUG appears somewhere in the email, then you are registered. And then in the body, put your address, put your preference. Do you want the black with the white logo or the white with the black logo? You got to make up that choice. But send those to thatkevinshow at gmail.com and then be listening each weekend for your chance to win. Now, we have won tonight because a long-standing kind of fun thing that I like to talk about is finally being able to be unveiled here on That Kevin Show, and that is the beautiful world of travel. But maybe you're kind of like me, and you're a workhorse, and you stay indoors too much, and you need to get out, and you're saying it's such a big thing to do to think, I got to get out of here and get to a beach. How do I do that? What's the big picture and all that? Well, Eric the Travel Guy is my next guest, and he's joining us from an undisclosed paradise. Eric the Travel Guy, welcome to That Kevin Show.
Thank you, Kevin, for having me. This is a fantastic opportunity.
Well, and since we're sitting here in the middle of the weekend evening, and you're obviously somewhere where the sun is shining, I am very jealous because it's really beautiful wherever you are. So thank you for taking time out to be with us. But let's jump into that. People want to travel. It's spring is in the air. They've got the gumption to go. How do you take the big picture and narrow that down and end up on a beach? How do you do that?
Well, if you don't mind, I have a question for you. How long have you been doing That Kevin Show, Kevin?
Well, in 3 different iterations, about a dozen years.
I see. And we've been friends a long time. And this is the first time that you've asked me to be on your show.
Yeah.
So apparently you're just getting around to realize.
Oh, you have a chip on your shoulder about this, do you?
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that. All I'm saying is I'm happy, no matter how long it's taken you to figure out how important travel really is. So this is a good step. This is a great first step, Kevin.
It's a piece of therapy. It's a piece of therapy for my recovery. This is what it is.
Isn't it all? I mean, it really is. We're all on some sort of program. It's absolutely true. But in all seriousness, thank you for having me. I do appreciate that because, again, I find this to be, especially this time of year, especially if you live in the Northeast or you live in the North where there's 4 seasons, you live out West where there's in the mountains, maybe this time of year, you're like, you know what? I want to get out there. I want to do it. But it can be so overwhelming. It can be almost debilitating. And people end up not going because they're like, I don't know. It's too expensive. It takes so much time. Right. I'm going to miss too much work. That's the unfortunate downside of travel.
So in just a couple of ideas, how can we reverse that trend in our current situation?
I think it's a really good idea. First of all, I think you need to start deciding, look, you and we're going to be older by the time this interview is over. We will have been on this planet longer.
Technically, everybody will, but yes.
That's exactly right. See, so no one is exempt from, time waits for no one, as they say. And just like the trains in Switzerland, the time runs on time. So I think maybe today might be a good day. I tell people to decide, well, what are you living for? Travel should be one of those things that, why are you working so hard? Why are you saving that money? What are you doing with it? If travel's not a part of it, that's a big problem to me, big time. So I think it starts in your mind. And I'll tell you, Kevin, listen, I spent a lot of time at airports. I spent a lot of time in cruise ports. I spent a lot of time on cruise ships, in airplanes, at hotels. And I can tell you, there's plenty of Karens and Kens out there that have this entitlement situation going on. They're stressed out. People tend to think that sometimes they can get away from their problems just by traveling. Well, I assure you, If you got problems at home, they're going to follow you on the road. That's not the point. The point is to actually go. And when you start in your own mind, then the logistics of travel will be a lot less taxing and annoying, and you can get to what you're supposed to be getting to, which is this paradise.
My bride and I are in a unique stage of life. Our kids are actually old enough to have conversations, take care of their own bathroom business, be able to be somewhat responsible. And I've noticed that traveling is something that we do as a family is a lot of fun. And now there's like a little heartbeat inside of me that wants to take them to Europe, to Jerusalem, to other places for our faith or history or culture that we think are important. And so this is something that I think over the next, if you arced our last 10 years versus the next 10 years, my desire is that we quadruple the amount of travel that we've done with the kids, because this window of time is not going to be there long.
No, that's exactly right. And you're getting into that second phase of having children and traveling, because the first phase, of course, is that, we're going to grandma's house. And that's fine. The kids don't care where you're going. They're in the car. They're like dogs, like they're excited to have the windows down and they're going. Then they start to have opinions about where they want to go, as they continue to age. They're like, Dad, can we do this? Mom, can we do that? And so, you're getting to that second. You don't want to bring somebody to Europe when they're 3. They're not going to remember it. But they're getting older. So that's one of the first things I tell people is they say, how do we do it? How do we do it? How do we do it? Do you have a passport? Statistically speaking, about 43% of the viewers don't even have a passport. That's a lot of people in the United States. So you say, okay, now you don't have to leave the country. That's the other thing I tell people is that travel can be defined however you want to define it. You go to California, it's travel. You go to the neighboring town and have dinner in a restaurant you've never been to before, that's travel. It may sound kind of silly to say it that way, but it's true. And so you could just begin to widen that circle out, and you'll soon realize the world is a pretty small place. With the advent of jet engines, we can be just about anywhere in 3, 5,
very
10,
short periods of time. I was
hours.
reminded of that last year when we, the bride and I, went to Italy and came home, and it was like we hadn't left, and it was like that's sad. We were just there yesterday. Eric, the travel guy is his name.
Yes.
Eric Hastings is his complete name. But if you want to know more about what Eric is doing, ericthetravelguy.com. It's That Kevin Show from New York. Stay here.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.